Chris at MC Chiropractic. We're back in the gym again talking about painful shoulders. We just did a video recently where we talked about shoulder and thoracic spine mobility, getting yourself to actually reach overhead, whether we're doing Olympic lifts, overhead press, snatches, that type of thing, or whether we're talking about just getting your jacket on now that it's fall time. If you're getting that pinching sensation as you swing an arm inside your jacket, these drills can really help you out. If you're having mobility problems, like we tested out in our last video, gave you some solutions, just see the link below there in the description. We covered that already. If you're still getting some sort of pain, or if you notice that it's weird, I don't have any issues with my mobility, I can touch overhead just fine with those tests that we previously did, then maybe stability is your actual issue. If the stabilizing muscles around your shoulder aren't actually doing their job to hold the ball and socket joint in the center of the socket, you might get intermittent pinching sensations that can be really sharp, but then in other activities not bother you at all. So we're going to test to see if your stability is close to what it should be. So we're going to get a moderate sized dumbbell if you have access to some dumbbells. A dumbbell and a kettlebell work great to do this test. If you don't, we can use something like a gallon of milk or a gallon of water to simulate our kettlebell, and we can use any other heavy book or something that's a similar weight to go ahead and mimic the dumbbell. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna check our overhead press position. So for our athletes, again, if you're having pain in the shoulder going that overhead position, for the rest of us weekend warriors, if it's trouble putting on your coat, maybe reaching into the back seat of the car, those types of activities, if that shoulder's bugging you, here's how we test it out. You're gonna grab a reasonably hefty weight, okay? I'm just using 20 pounds here because it makes me know there's some weight there, but it's maybe in the moderate range of what I can actually lift overhead. So what I'm gonna try to do is press that straight up overhead, and I'm gonna see if there's actually any pain or pinching sensation, okay? That feels okay, but it is just maybe a little tight on that arcing movement right there today for me, okay? So if that gives you any type of issue, stop, put it down, give us a call, let us know if we can help you that. But if you're just feeling fine with that, but certain other movements bother you, we're gonna go ahead and grab our kettlebell, and we're gonna hold it in this position. Instead of the slung position, we're gonna go into a bottoms up position, okay? Now this is 18 pounds, it's actually a little lighter than that dumbbell, but you're gonna notice that in this bottoms up position, it is a lot harder to actually press this overhead without feeling like the weight is going to tip or shift on you. You might see my forearm shake a little bit there. So the question is this about the same difficulty level, or is it way harder? Okay, if this is way harder, then the issue that you're having is actually a stability problem because the weight wants to fall. If your forearm, if your shoulder socket aren't staying perfectly centered as you rotate overhead, you're gonna notice that your forearm wants to tilt and you're gonna fall down. That can cause shoulder pain itself. So we wanna use a fairly light weight for this, guys. If you're noticing regular reoccurring problems with that, we want you to use a weight that's manageable. Maybe we've gotta go back to the rack and grab a lighter weight and actually learn to start pressing overhead with a good amount of stability there without any pain in the shoulder. So if you're doing bottoms up kettlebell presses with, let's say, 10 pounds because it falls over and you have pain with anything more, but you're trying to do a dumbbell press overhead with 60 pounds and you're wondering why it hurts and pinches every time you go over top, it's probably because you're not centering that socket in the correct overhead position. Remember, we could always just grab a gallon jug of milk with that handle on the side, or the gallon a jug of water. That water in there is going to even be a little bit more sloshier, that liquid in there. So when we get in that overhead position, maybe we only need to fill that halfway full for some of us at home to practice our own rehab. Get those shoulders actually feeling decent. Get them to feel stable, okay? That little trick right there for a lot of people will reduce shoulder pain significantly just by strengthening the stabilizing muscles. When the stabilizing muscles are doing their job and keeping your socket in the center, when you actually do go to lift overhead and work on those deltoids and other pressing muscles, you're actually going to notice better development in your shoulders if you work at it and hit the gym frequently. If you don't want to hit the gym a lot, you just want your shoulders to feel good, use the home hack, get this done. If you're having any troubles figuring out how to make this work for you, or if you need other options, maybe it's just too painful to even get that arm overhead with no weight in your hand, give us a call at Adventure Chiropractic. We're always here to help you move better, feel better, be a better you.
Everybody's moving, everybody's moving, everybody's moving, 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 moving. Everybody's moving, everybody's moving, everybody's moving, 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 and stop.